Usually I post makeup content, occasionally I'll foray into fashion content, and ever since I posted my Gap try-on keep a return last week, I've gotten several, if not thousands, of requests to see how these clothing items stack up to my indie single shadows. Our landscape can be tough to navigate as a consumer. Do you really need a new sweater? You already have Terra Moon's The Cosmos. I'm here to put the calm into calamity. I've gathered the 22 shadows in my collection. What was that? That most closely resemble the items that I tried on last week. And we'll decide what's better, the Gap or my indie single shadows. Hopefully there's a little something here for everyone today. If you don't like makeup and fashion, I will do a garlic bread unboxing at the end. The first items I tried on were that blue soft long sleeve and the matching pants, and the closest shadows I have to that in my collection are Looxi Blue Lagoon for the top and Give Me Glow Glass Slipper for the bottom. These shades are pretty similar, even though they don't look exactly the same in the pan. Here's Looxi Blue Lagoon and Give Me Glow Glass Slipper. They both go pink, but Glass Slipper has more pink to it, and neither of those clothing items have any sort of shift. They're just straight blue. Every single angle you could look at them, just blue. And I had already decided against them. They've already been returned, but either way, this would show me that these shadows are so much more interesting than that top and pants are. The next item were those dark straight leg jeans, and I figured denim is kind of similar to a neutral matte. It's something that you want to work with various things in your wardrobe. You want it to be a building block piece that you depend on, and it's not necessarily the most exciting thing, but you need it to do its job. So the closest thing I had in my single shadows to that is Looxi Everything. This is just a really neutral, perfect transition shade for me, and the kind of shade that I use a lot. Here it is. It doesn't always swatch the best, but it does show up really well in my crease. I have it in my crease today. And those jeans I also returned. Looxi Everything, I wouldn't return if I had the opportunity, so this definitely beats out those jeans. Next, I tried on that pink workout set from Old Navy. It was the pink one-shoulder top and the matching pants. I actually did decide to keep the top. When I tried it on without something underneath, it did fit me really well, and I feel like it will be really handy and comfortable in the summer. So I knew that I needed to put it up against a single shadow that I also love and cherish and want to hold on to. So for the top, I chose Devinah Sol Laze, and for the bottom, I chose Looxi Ohana. Devinah Sol Laze is just so good. It travels with me everywhere I go. I use it in my inner corners all the time. It's such a staple for me. Looxi Ohana, I also really love, but it just doesn't tend to be something that I reach for that often. But whenever I see it, I'm like, ooh, I have that. Like, I'm excited for this to come up in my random palette selection sometime soon so I can focus on it a little bit more. I definitely like this way more than the pants. The pants were see-through. Easy return, and although I like the top and I'm keeping it, I would keep Devinah Sol Laze over it, and I already have Devinah Sol Laze. Maybe if I had done this before, I wouldn't have even gotten the top. The next item was the denim dress that I wasn't crazy about, and I also returned along with like almost everything. But I was thinking denim equals matte, you know, easy building block piece, but it's not like a pair of jeans. It's a little bit more of an interesting denim piece. So I was thinking more of like an adjacent neutral shadow. So I chose this peachy shadow from Adept. It's ACM25. I don't think they're still making any singles anymore, but you know, just a regular old peachy matte. It's the kind of shadow that I use in my crease in place of a transition if I want something a little bit more warm and funky. And I would definitely keep this over the dress. The next item I tried was this dress. It's this like ditzy floral patterned midi dress. It's super comfortable, it's super cute, I really like it. It's probably my favorite thing that I tried in that video. And I thought something that kind of gave the same energy as this dress is Clionadh Bloodline. This is a shadow I think of being kind of like a neutral, but an interesting neutral, you know? It goes with a lot of looks, it goes in every season, but it's still like a standout. It's still pretty, you'll still get compliments on it. such a beautiful shadow. You know, you see what I mean? Clearly a dupe. So this is probably the hardest one to say, but you know, I already did have Bloodline, and I think sometimes the deciding factor is just what you already have wins when something is so similar. Like, can you even tell the difference? Can you even tell one's a dress and one's an eyeshadow? I don't think so. Next, I tried on that white V-neck tank top, and I think a good white tank top is more than the sum of its parts. You might look at it and say, plain piece of fabric, nothing that exciting, but it allows you to go a little bit more wild in other aspects of your look, and that's so special about it. So I thought, which shadows do I have that look white, but there's more to them than just white? And I thought Clionadh UV. Duh. This is one of my favorite inner corner shadows, and you might not guess it just from looking at the pan if you don't know that it's so much more than just like white powder in a pan. It's beautiful, and I would definitely choose UV over that tank top all the time. Next were those pink jeans, and they were cool, but I decided against them. I decided that there weren't any looks that I would rather wear those pink jeans than a different pair of pants I have. I chose Looxi Pixie Dust to compare to them. And this is another shade that I kind of think of like Ohana. It's so beautiful and I'm so happy I have it, but I never think to wear it, and I can't wait until it comes up in a random selection. This wins over those pants. And then the next item was that chambray button-up, which I also really like. And I also decided to return because it's not my perfect denim button-up. I have like a grapey colored button-up that I feel like I could put my effort into. And I also have a denim like zip-up light jacket type of thing that I thrifted in St. Louis, and I figured that kind of works for a denim button-up too, but I have a lot of respect for that top, and I also have a lot of respect for Looxi Sultry. The top is kind of like a denim adjacent. It's not a pair of jeans, it's a little bit more interesting than a pair of jeans, and I love this shadow. It's this perfect like pinkish, mid-toned, brownie matte. It really works well for me for like deepening up a transition, and I love it. It's not going anywhere. Next up were two pairs of khaki colored pants that I wanted to just be like really easy throw it on items for me, and neither of them were. But these shadows are. Sure, maybe they're less cool toned than those khakis are, but does that really matter to me on a daily basis if these are a little bit warmer? No. There's the constant, endless search for something that's missing, and sometimes you already have something to fill that space. And in that case, those things are Menagerie, Animal Kingdom, and Looxi Until Dawn. Animal Kingdom is one of my favorite neutral shades in my whole collection. It's such an easy thing to throw on my eyes when I just want something sparkly and beautiful. Until Dawn is definitely much chunkier, but I love the effect of that. You could see Until Dawn is also more of like a golden color, where Animal Kingdom is a little bit more of like a champagne over a mauvey base. Next was the black and white plaid dress, which I also did end up keeping because it was final sale, so I had no choice, but I did like it. This one I was having a little bit of trouble finding a comparable shade in my collection for, but imagine if there was like a white to black multichrome. I don't even know if that would be possible, but imagine. Either way, I chose Terra Moon's Selene. You know, I think in these situations though, I have to ask myself, if I don't already have a comparable shade for that one, is there a reason why? And maybe Selene, although it's not very similar to that dress, maybe this is what's better for me in my collection, and maybe I didn't need the dress anyway. Next was the black tank dress with kind of like a smocked bodice that I knew right away that I was going to return, and I chose Looxi Chocolate Cherry for this one because both of them were more exciting in concept than in actuality. This is a pretty shadow. I like it. I still haven't done my kind of like warm matte fantasy with this in the center, and I plan to. But either way, this didn't have the va-va-voom that I was hoping this shade would, and neither did the dress, so maybe they are good dupes. The next one though is a dress that, although I did not keep, I have a lot of respect for. It's the dress that had the big, dramatic, puffy sleeves up top. I don't even know if that's what was supposed to be happening, but it was what was happening, and it was fantastic, and I could have kept it if I had an occasion for it, but I did not have such occasion. But for the drama, I chose Terra Moon's Hyperspace. I love this shadow. This isn't the type of thing that I would really categorize myself as wanting or enjoying, but something about this shade is just so hypnotizing. It's very foily, very metallic and reflective, very purple, and it has a lot of green to it too. And I found that paired with different mattes, it will give me very different effects. And although the swatch here doesn't tell you that whole story, it's incredible. And I think a lot of people would vouch for it. Next up were the gray satin button-up and pants that I had high hopes for, but they just didn't fit the way that I would have needed them to in order to keep them. So I chose my two favoritist gray shadows in my collection. I have Devinah Mystic Moonpie, which, although I'm saying is a gray, is so much more complex than that. It has like a warmy base with cool sparkles on top. And then for the pants, we have Moonlit, which is also a gorgeous shadow, but a little bit less of a standout than the top is, because I was more excited about the top anyway. Here's Mystic Moonpie and Moonlit, both from Devinah, both so gorgeous. The next item were those like beige sleep pants that were called Moonstone, which I love the imagery of that word, but in actuality it just made me look like naked, and that was weird. But I feel like Looxi Salted Caramel is kind of like a naked shadow for my skin tone, but it's like better than being naked. And those pants were worse than being naked. The shadow just gives such like a beautiful glossy finish, and this also is such like a good no makeup type of shadow. The next item was that gray heathered long sleeve that was just too long for me in every direction, and for that one I chose this Depotted ColourPop Silver, which is a shadow that I tend to pull a lot for duping palettes and things like that, but it's just a metallic, and it doesn't excite me in the same way that the more like duochromatic shades do. But sometimes you just need that, and this definitely wins over the shirt. Next were the black jeans that I did end up keeping, and I have been wearing those a lot and really enjoying them. For that, I chose the matte Looxi Mudslide, just a good staple brown. And those jeans are exactly that to me. They're kind of a staple. They are there to pair with my looks whenever I need them, and so is Looxi Mudslide. And although this, like Bloodline, is a hard one to choose because I really do love the other item, sometimes you just gotta give it to the one you already have, and I already had this matte. And then last up we had two blue items. We had the plain blue tank top that was like the white one before, and for that I chose Electric Lemonade from Looxi. And then we also had the blue cardigan that had like vented sides that I didn't like, and a security tag still on it for some reason. And for that, I chose Huff and Puff from Looxi. Both of those items I did return. I did consider the tank top for a little while, but I realized I just didn't need it. The cardigan was an instant no. So these shadows are easily the winners, and these pair together so much nicer than those other two items paired together. And Huff and Puff is such an interesting shadow. I'm sorry I'm showing you my elbow. I did not plan this out correctly. But yeah, these are all the shadows that I already had. And to answer the question of how the gap compares to my indie single shadows, the indie single shadows, as always, are victorious. Let's do a quick recap. We have Looxi Blue Lagoon, Give Me Glow Glass Slipper, Looxi Everything, Devinah Sol Laze, Looxi Ohana, Adept ACM25, Clionadh Bloodline, Clionadh UV, Looxi Pixie Dust, Looxi Sultry, Menagerie Animal Kingdom, Looxi Until Dawn, Terra Moon's Selene, Looxi Chocolate Cherry, Terra Moon's Hyperspace, Devinah Mystic Moonpie, Devinah Moonlit, Looxi Salted Caramel, ColourPop Depotted Silver, Looxi Mudslide, Looxi Electric Lemonade, and Looxi Huff and Puff. Let me just quickly show you what I have on my eyes today because I used all of these shadows. In my crease, I have the dark straight leg jeans. To deepen it up on my outer V, I have the black jeans. All over my lid is the gray satin button-up, and then I used a little bit of the pink jeans to brighten and warm that up with. On my inner corner, I used the white tank top, and then on my lower lash line, in addition to the dark straight leg jeans, I used this dress, the Ditzy Floral midi dress. And that's gonna be everything for today. If you haven't already realized, today is April Fool's, and I wanted to do something a little goofy for you goofy guys. I had a whole bunch of ideas, but I was in Egypt up until a couple days ago, so I didn't have time to execute anything more dramatic. But like 2 hours ago, I was in the shower thinking about that comment I got, and I was like, I'm gonna do that. So here it is. I hope it was fun to watch, though. I hope it was fun to spend a little time swatching indie single shadows, even if the context is ridiculous. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. It really means a lot to me, and I'll be back with more indie makeup content soon. Bye.